Hello everyone. Welcome to the 6th video session in our chronic pain management series. The topic for today is on returning to work and the strategies you need to manage your pain while at work. The purpose of this session is to revisit some of the strategies we've talked about and put them within the context of the work environment. Even though the session is about work, many of the strategies can be applied to going to school, volunteering, social gatherings, and working around the house. There will be two parts to this video. During the first part, we will be discussing some of the stressors that come with returning to work. Next, we will go over ways to incorporate exercise and movement into your workday. Then, we'll talk about different ways to create an optimal workstation and to modify your schedule for increased flexibility. In part 2, we will discuss how to manage worksite relationships with coworkers, your boss, teachers, and even friends and family. Finally, we'll talk about leisure and how to identify activities that are meaningful to you. Whether you've been away from work for an extended period of time or you're in the process of switching jobs, it can be hard to get back into the routine of a workday or adapt to a new work schedule. There are a variety of stressors that can impact your ability to participate in the workday and put you at risk for increasing pain symptoms. Physically, if you haven't been as active as you were before, your muscles may be deconditioned. They have not been used as strenuously as they were the last time you were working. Your job may require you to be up on your feet and walking more often than while you were not working. Once you start working again, your legs might feel weaker and get tired more quickly. Emotionally and mentally, a job can add another layer of complexity in your life. There is the increased stress of performing the job well and meeting productivity. There is the fear of the unknown when adapting to a new routine or wondering if there will be parts of the job that may aggravate your pain symptoms. And socially, there will be a new group of people who do not know you or your experiences that you'll have to interact with on a daily basis. This can be intimidating. The best thing you can do before beginning a new job, going to school, participating in a volunteer activity, is to be aware of these stressors and to begin to think about how you might go about creating a plan for yourself. The first idea you can include in your pain management toolbox is about physical activity. Staying physically active and just getting up and moving around periodically while at work can reduce muscle stiffness and increase muscle strength in order to reduce pain and increase overall tolerance for work. Firstly, working out during lunch or just taking a walk during lunch to loosen up the muscles and keep the body moving after sitting at a desk for a long time. If your job requires you to be on your feet most of the time, then it is important to schedule in rest breaks. Secondly, using a band or small free weights to keep muscles engaged and active at any time during the day. If you don't have a band or free weights, use a full water bottle or cans of food. Thirdly, stretching at any time during the day and adjusting your posture periodically after sitting for a long time. You can stretch while remaining seated at your desk or when standing and walking around. Please refer to our yoga and mindfulness video for good examples of seated stretches that may be beneficial to you and your body. And 4, just in general, loosening up the muscles after you have been sitting or repeating the same movement for a long time, like typing on a keyboard, lifting items off the floor, or using any handyman tools like a hammer or saw. It is important to take a few minutes to give your body a rest from these repetitive movements after completing them for an extended time. Overall, it is important to increase your self-awareness of how your body is feeling throughout the day. Recognizing how your body is feeling when you have been sitting, standing, or doing the same activity for a long time. And If you are uncomfortable in any way or pain symptoms are increasing, it is important to implement some of these strategies or any other strategies you are already completing. It is better to implement these strategies in the moment than to push through the remainder of the day so that the pain symptoms don't become unbearable and unmanageable. In addition to new physical, mental, and social stressors when beginning a new job, flare-ups are also factored in. This is a slide that we discussed all the way back in the very first program session on understanding your pain. We wanted to include it in this presentation as well because having a flare-up management plan for work is very important. If you experience a flare-up while at work, then it is important to have a plan in place with multiple strategies in order to manage the pain as best as possible, instead of trying to just push through the pain until you get home. Pushing through the pain day after day may make the pain unmanageable by the time you do get home, and then it can impact your sleep that night, which will subsequently lead to being overly tired the following day, and that can have a detrimental impact on the workday. This pain cycle will continue if there is no management plan in place for when experiencing a flare-up on the worksite. Please pull from some of the strategies we have provided throughout the program in order to have a toolbox of strategies that may be able to assist you in managing your pain throughout the day. Next, we will discuss worksite adaptations. Worksite adaptations are all about creating a work area that allows for proper body positions, postures, and safety, because these factors all have a positive impact on managing pain and reducing sick days and injuries. This could include making adaptations to your desk, your workshop with your tools, or the workspace you need to walk around in. And this could be a worksite in your home as well. In order to do this, consider some of the following strategies. Firstly, maintaining good, comfortable posture during all activities. Sometimes, if you have to sit at a desk for an extended time, you may not even realize that you begin to slouch over, your shoulders rise up, and your neck is straining to look at papers or your computer. Going back to the previous slide, it is important to be self-aware of your body position so that you can readjust in order to be in the most proper position while completing work for an extended amount of time. One suggestion is to raise your computer screen so that the top of the computer is at eye level. Naturally, when relaxed, our eyes tend to drift downward. If the top edge of the computer is at eye level, when looking ahead, the screen will be at the optimal position once you get comfortable. This can prevent neck strain and limit poor posture and eye strain, thereby helping your body to rest in a more proper alignment. To do this, if your computer is lower, place books or the desktop under the screen. Secondly, make sure to have proper lighting for the whole workspace. This is very important for maintaining safety. If you cannot see something, whether it's on the ground or on a shelf, you can increase your risk for a fall or knocking items over. Proper lighting can also reduce strain on the eyes from squinting. Squinting for a long time can cause the muscles around the eyes to tighten and fatigue. This can lead to headaches and other pain symptoms that can interfere with your work and other daily activities. Thirdly, sit-to-stand desks are encouraged to change body positions periodically, but oftentimes they can be quite expensive. If you can't afford or don't want to purchase a sit-to-stand desk, it is important to stand and move around on your own after sitting for a long time. This can get the blood pumping to all parts of the body again and reduce muscle stiffness. The opposite applies after being up and moving around for a long time. It is important to sit down and take a break so your body can rest and re-energize. If you aren't naturally switching positions or changing up your activities, one method to remind yourself to do this is to set a timer. Remember, we recommend moving around or at the very least, shifting body positions in your chair at least twice every hour. Fourthly, materials should be within reach and at proper heights. This is one of the most important strategies to consider. You want to set up your work environment before you get started, so anything you may need is within arm's reach or at a proper height in order to reduce putting your body into any awkward positions once you get started working. If you know you will need certain papers, documents, or tools throughout, then retrieve them all beforehand so you do not need to reach far out of your base of support for any of the necessary materials. Next, it is also important to consider your daily schedule flexibility in order to have appropriate time to manage pain or pain-related symptoms to be able to remain fully focused during main working hours. This can also be considered a preventative measure in order to keep muscles from becoming tight or feeling painful. Firstly, discuss your situation with a supervisor in order to keep them aware. This can be hard to do, but it is important to let your supervisor know that you may need to take a couple of minute breaks in order to stretch, move around, and just loosen up after sitting or completing the same activity for a long time. You can inform them that you'll be able to remain much more productive if you can take a few breaks other than just pushing through the pain, which may result in being less productive due to an increase in your pain symptoms. Secondly, as we have discussed previously, taking the intermittent breaks to stretch and change body position is important in order to manage muscle stiffness and remain fully productive throughout the workday. Another option is to possibly start the workday a little bit later and then work a little later into the afternoon or evening in order to manage the pain or morning stiffness that can follow from sleeping the night before. Sometimes starting the day a little later is not always an option, so waking up earlier than usual may have to become part of your new routine. This could give you time to take a hot shower and stretch a little bit in order to wake the muscles up and get them loose for the workday. This is the end of part 1. You can now move on to part 2, which will discuss managing work-site relationships and the importance of leisure.